Yo, what is going on, guys, and CPC fans? Got Hikertoad here, bringing you back week 6 of the CPC, and today we are going up against Neo, coach of the Oklahoma City Thundurus, I think, and he was a replacement coach for King Damos, who unfortunately did have to drop out due to personal reasons and all that. But Neo is a very good battler. Definitely, I've fought him 2 times before. We are 1-1, both pretty close games, so definitely excited to face him again, and especially since Damos left him with a pretty scary team. So I'm just gonna get right into that, as Neo does have the Infernate, Skarmory, Shaman, Mamoswine, Primarina, Mega Pidgeot, Hoopa Unbound, Haxorus, and the Luxray. So just looking at it, really offensive roster, with stuff like Infernate, Mamo, Primarina, Mega Pidgeot, Hoopa, like Haxorus, just a bunch of offensive threats with like a few potential defensive pivots like Skarm, the Shaman, and like Primarina potentially, but like all of those except Skarmory for the most part, unless you want to run SD Skarmory, can be offensive as well. As well as the Luxray down there can definitely be like something like maybe a Guts variant or like just like defensive or whatever. So definitely very pressuring, like has the ability to pressure me as well as like checkers check some of my mons. Like for example, just looking at it, I don't have switch-ins. I don't have a good switch-in to Mega Pidgeot. I don't have the best of switch-ins to Hoopa U. My switch-ins to Mamoswine are shaky, and same for like something like a Specs Primarina, and also like a Banded Haxorus or something like that. Infernape and like Shaman are like the two most manageable Pokemon offensively for me to deal with, as I can like with Shaman I have like Torn, I have potentially Galvantula, I have stuff like a Wolm Executor. Nidoqueen can pressure it a lot as well, and like defensive Shaman just isn't the best, although it can potentially check Maul well, as it can take a hit and fire off an Earth Power the following turn. And I think Infernape just isn't the best this matchup, even though I do love Infernape. But it's just outsped by Torn and Starmie, and I do have potential checks to like it, so it's not like it just gets a kill, and I have things to outspeed it. And I think the Scarf set is just outclassed by like certain stuff. I don't think it's necessary. But yeah, Mega Pidgeot is by far I think the biggest threat, and definitely the most annoying one, because it's a very good defogger. I think defog, like he loses pretty much nothing from just having Hurricane, Heat Wave, and then two other moves as his last slot. I think Defog will be one of them, just because Webs and Hazard stack. I literally have every Hazard in the game, so I definitely think it's going to be Defog. And then the last move is just up for debate, like maybe like Roost U-turn, Work Up, and then maybe potentially Tailwind or something. And then Hoopa, I don't really have much for that either. With the combination of Psychic, Fighting, and Dark, I don't have anything for it. I think it'll probably be like Titanium Z to blow away the Mega Mawile. And just speaking on Mega Mawile, this matchup, I don't think it really matches up well against him, as like I said, he has such a fast and offensive team that I don't really see it getting those turns that it needs to actually be able to like get a kill. Like Mega, it's kind of like hard to say, because it definitely could have been useful this matchup, but with stuff like Hoopa being able to potentially OHKO it, if it still has the Z move intact, Haxorus like Life Orb or Earthquake could potentially just like OHKO me. If I'm not like really spit def, Mega Pidgeot can just blow me away with Heat Wave. And like if like even if I'm like spit def, two Heat Waves blow me away, so it's not even like a switch in, so like I have to rely on like getting it in with like Torn. Like I never even really want to U-turn with the Torn, because like I can just get a kill with that. Like he doesn't have a switch into Torn, as long as I hit my Hurricanes, of course. But yeah, I just didn't think Mawile was the best, so I just basically I have this Torn, amazing. He's flying resist to Skarmory, which is terrible. I'm just well, he also has Luxray, but Skarmory I think is just terrible flying resist if it's from a special mon. Like if it's like something from like a Staraptor or like Dodrio or whatever, it's good. But like in terms of taking special fighting hits, no, special fire hits. Wow, I'm just messing up a lot. But yeah, in terms of taking special fire hits, it just doesn't do that very well. So like his only response would be like to slap an assault vest on something or to bring a like defensive variant of the Luxray. So Torn's definitely very good this match and potentially be a late game win con. So next up I do have the Scarf Darmanitan. Matches up pretty well versus him, and I really needed to once again check the Pidgeot as that's just a really big threat. It's undersped by the Haxorus, which is annoying, but there's nothing I can really do about that. But yeah, his like main fire resist is like probably Primarina, and so if I can weaken that down, then Flare Blitz can potentially also clean late game, which is really nice. Because like Infernape isn't going to take a Flare Blitz, well I think it does like at least half, probably like more, and then Haxorus isn't going to appreciate it either. So definitely just standard like U-turn, Flare Blitz, Earthquake, and Superpower hits his entire team pretty much. So and I think the speed is for just Hoopa and Mamo in case either one of them are scarfed, because that could potentially be an option. So yeah, next up I have a bit of heat, quote unquote, I guess you could say, but not really. I have Agility 3 attacks Galvantula because I noticed that this matchup, offensive Galvantula, he really doesn't have much for it. Blows away Infernape, blows away Skarmory, blows away Shaman, blows away Mamo, blows away Primarina, blows away Pidgeot, Hoopa, Haxorus, and Luxray. Like, it just, like, everything is going to get two-shot if it's, like, not, like, an like I said, if it's not, like, an Assault Vest on a random Mon. Which I could definitely see coming, so Galvantula and Tornadus definitely help weaken each other's checks, as I think the same Mons will try and check them, if you get what I mean. So, and then last lot, I didn't really think that Webs fit this kind of team, like nothing really benefited from them, as like, I don't slow down Mega Pidgeot, which is the only thing this doesn't outspeed. This thing's Scarf, so it really doesn't care. This thing doesn't really care either, neither do these two, so I figured that I might as well just go with Agility, because if I can get Agility up, and I have Hazards up, or if like I've weakened like the Haxorus and gotten into range of Bug Buzz, or like weakened the Mamo, I can potentially sweep like pretty early in the game if I do have the right Mons chipped with that. So definitely can be a good win con in the right situation. So next up, I do have the Alolan Persian. This is my Hoopa check. This is my main switch, and I think he's bringing a Hoopa 100%. I don't like. I have ways to pressure Hoopa, but like, I think it's still a very good bring. As like without this, it does just get a kill. Like Dark and Psychic literally hit everything else that like isn't this or Mega Mawile. And like obviously I'm Chompo for the Focus Blast. I'm actually not sure if a Fightinium Z Focus Blast would kill me. I think it actually might, but I think that it's worth it for like just regular Focus Blasts anyways, if he doesn't want to just like risk the Z or whatever, wants to save it. So yeah, U-turns just so I can hit the Hoopa harder as well as get initiative on a potential incoming Primarina. I can, yeah, Foul Play just for like Haxorus so I can check that and just like Parting Shot for version things. Yeah, it's a pretty standard set right there. So next up I have the Piloswine. This is my Mega Pidgeot check, as I really don't have much else on my roster besides, like I said, Mega Mawile, but like if it's that, but like Heat Wave still 2 KOs even a really Spadef variant, so I didn't see it as worth it. And I needed rocks on the team, so I really did like this option. It's kind of hard for him to switch into if he doesn't have the Skarmory. Like Primarina's, like this weakening Primarina is huge for Darmanitan, so I'll take it even if like I get forced out. And speaking of Primarina, I kind of need a sort of like check to it. Like obviously like a Psychic will blow away Quillfish, but it does give me hazards. It gives me a prevention of hazards from like a lead Skarm or whatever, and just Waterfall and Poison Jab hits pretty much everything. The Spadef I think is just to help better take hits from Primarina. It still gets blown away by Mega Pidgeot, and arguably I considered having Thunder Wave on this to stop potential things like Mega Pidgeot, or maybe like things that would like want to switch in, like maybe Haxorus trying to set up or whatever, but I figured that just I really wanted top for the Skarmory caught in case he brought the dual hazard lead, because in like a suicide sort of Skarm, because I'm not bringing the Starmie, so it could have been something that maybe he wanted to risk or whatever. And yeah, pretty much just yeah, pretty simple set. I didn't really want T-Spikes because I expected this to be a relatively quick game. So that is my team for Neo, and I will be right back with the battle in a... Yo, what is going on, my little tadpoles? Got Hikertoad here, and we are back with the battle versus TTM Miyochi. So I'll quickly go over my team if you skip the beginning portion. And we have the Taunt 3 attacks Tornadus with the Flying EMZ, the Choice Scarf now Manitan, which is 4 attacks, the Agility 3 attacks Life Orb Galvantula, the Choppleberry, Taunt, U-Turn, Parting Shot, Foul Play, Alolan Persian to check the Hoopa and Mamoswine and such. We have the Piloswine, split off Piloswine with rocks to help check the Pidgeot. And then we have Taunt, Spikes, Hazard, Dual Stab, Crowfish to help check the Primarina and get Spikes up on it potentially switching out. So looking at the team that he brought, he decided to leave the Infernape Shaman, Skarmory on the bench. I think that's it. I think he only has 9 Mons. I think those are the 3 that he left on the bench. So yeah, he brought a pretty scary roster. I'm expecting this to be like a more defensive variant of Luxray. Hoopa is scary no matter what it is, but I'm expecting it to be the Z variant. Mamoswine is scary, probably going to be Rocks, as Rocks are good against me, and it's his only rocker that he brought. Primarina could potentially be Specs, it could potentially be defensive. I think defensive is something that is potentially likely, as Mio has actually, because in the D-League last season where me and Mio were, and that's where we fought twice, he brought defensive Primarina both times, I think. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he brought defensive Primarina both times. So I know that he definitely likes to bring that a lot, so I definitely think he might bring that over a Specs variant. Hexstress just probably going to do Hexstress things like maybe Dragon Dance or like Bandit. I doubt Bandit, I don't think he needs it as a breaker. I think Hoopa and Mamo are just fine as that. So I think it's going to be a Punch Sweeper. And Pidgeot is just annoying because like it kills everything. It's really just annoying, but yeah. So I'm just going to leave my Piloswine, try and get up rocks early, as I'm just going to do that and get my rocks up, as he actually does knock me off, which makes me pretty much not a good Pidgeot counter anymore. So I'm just going to get Chip on this as rocks, as he's either going to go for rocks or going to Primarina, so either way I want Chip, as it just shows to stay in. So I'm just going to sack this off at this point, as I don't think I really need it for anything else, as this is going to be a double down turn 1 with both of us dropping. So Piloswine does technically beat Mamoswine. Piloswine is better than Mamoswine, fight me, don't at me. So I'm just going to go into Tornadus on the double down as he makes a good play and goes out into Luxray, as I do not have an electric resist anymore. So I'm just going to go out into my Primarina as he does fire off a Toxic, unfortunately missing, which could have, I'm not really sure. In the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure how much it actually mattered, just because like at the it's hard to say. I don't think it really mattered too much, but yeah, I'm just going to go for foul plays that would do a lot if he stayed in. I think I should have Parting Shot right there, as I just kind of lost momentum right there. Like, I don't think, like, he has a defensive Luxray, obviously. He showed the leftovers. He wants to keep it healthy for the Tornadus and potentially Galvantula, so I definitely think that switching out was his plays. This is a relatively free switch in, so I definitely should have made that aggressive play, semi-aggressive play. Like, I kind of lost a bit if he did stay in, but like I think I needed to kind of make that play to get myself into a better position. As now I do get the Parting Shot out because I don't think he's going to bring Scarf, so like I'm just going to do that. As he does get up the light screen, which is absolutely terrifying, as like it doesn't seem like it's initially bad, but like it kind of does affect some of my plays, which I will mention when it does get to that point. So he's just gonna Mega off. I need to pick a sack at this point, and like yeah, I really don't have a good sack to this. Like, well, like I kind of value all of my mons. I think I should have arguably sacked my, like I was considering sacking Persian, but then I don't have a switch into Hoopa. I sack this. I don't have a switch into Primarina. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna sack this. Like I really wasn't exactly sure what to sack, as I just fire off a Spike right here, as I do hurt myself and confuse. Watch me stumble on words again. But yeah, unfortunately I do hit myself, so I do lack that hazard right there. He's actually going to reveal the defog right here, which is interesting. I guess he didn't want to take all that hazard damage on his other mons, or like he didn't want rocks damage on the Primarina. So speaking of light screen right here did affect this play. Like it's like light screen was just huge because I considered going out into Tornadoes at first here, but a Z Hurricane does not kill the Mega Pidgeot. Granted, I'd have to win a speed tie, but if I did win that speed tie, the Mega Pidgeot would live the Z Hurricane because of the light screen. I just lose my Tornadoes, which is huge. So I'm going to go hard out into my Darmanitan, as without the rocks up, I can take a Hurricane decently well, as I unfortunately do get confused. I'm just going to fire off Flare Blitz, as I want to get chip on the Primarina for this Darmanitan. I'm not, as like that can help me like potentially sweep late game, and I do have that spike up as well, so I don't think I really lose anything. Like I lose more by U-turning and him staying in with Mega Pidgeot than him going into Primarina. So I'm going to just go for the Flare Blitz as I hit myself. So that's unfortunate, as even though he's defensive and like I'm scarfed, that would have done around like 60% easily to it KOing it, and if he decided to preserve the Luxray and switch out, he would have taken the spikes damage as well as a -1 hit from the Darmanitan, which will still do a decent amount. And as at this point he's revealed to be like a max HP, max Fizdef Primarina, based on the foul play damage from Persian, but it's still good damage, and I don't think he's going to be rest talk or like just rest with light screen. I don't think it's a like it's a potential set, but I don't think it's likely. And anyways, if it is a set like that, it can potentially just give me some free turns if I do get lucky enough. So yeah, I do hit myself in confusion, which is really annoying. I'm just going to fire off Flare Blitz again. I need damage off on this for my Galvantula and my Tornadus. Galvantula is looking to be in a prime position to potentially win, which is really crucial, as he's going to go out into the Mega Pidgeot, which is really bad because he still has one turn left of the light screen, and like I said, Z Hurricane cannot kill this. So I'm going to go into my Galvantula, and because I want to get my Tornadus in versus this, so expecting like, and he actually revealed to not be any special attack on this, based on the damage he did before, I think. So I know I can easily take a Hurricane or a Heat Wave with Tornadus, and then I can bank on winning the speed tie next turn. As he is actually going to fire off the Tailwind, which is really cool prep. It's good for something like a Breaker Hoopa or Breaker Haxorus, so definitely very threatening. As I'm going to make the aggressive play, as I'm just really behind in this game. I could have fired off the Z Hurricane, but I'm just not going to risk it, as this Luxray sack is just way too obvious, and I can't afford to play safe at this point in the game. So I'm just going to go into my Alolan Persian. I'm going to Burning Shot out on the Primarina. Wait. Oh. Okay. I completely forgot. I did this game like yesterday, and I forgot why I did that. But yeah, the Tailwind was up. So if it like had like Moonblast, I didn't want to just go for the Moonblast right there. I figured that I might as well just hard switch out, as he does go for the light screen. So I'm just going to fire off a Poison Jab, I think, because he really doesn't have a good poison resist enough and get a poison on, something that's huge. As he goes out into the Haxorus, I think he's going to Dragon Dance 100%, so I need to get chip off on this, as I'm going to Poison Jab again, as I do get the crit, but he lives on 1 HP. So with that, so basically in prep, I was kind of dumb and forgot that this gets Mold Breaker, meaning Alolan Persian's fur coat doesn't mean anything, because I think it could have potentially lived the Dragon Claw in this situation, but it just it almost dies to Earthquake. So I'm in a very bad position at this point, as I'm just going to sack off my Alolan Persian, as I think it's just useless at this point. I see no purpose for it. Like Mold Breaker and gets outsped by Pidgeot, doesn't do anything to Primarina, only useful for Hoopa, which I think I can deal with otherwise. And so now he's at neutral, and I think at this range I die to an Earthquake, I think. Okay, and so this is where the light screen comes in again. I would have just stayed in if the light screen wasn't up, but and then because the next turn I can live with Torn and I can revenge this. but he still has one turn of light screen left, meaning he can just go out into the Pidgeot and he can pretty much just kill me off, finish me off and get 2 kills. Because he kills me 2 turns left. I kill Torn. I kill Haxorus. That's 1 turn left. He gets a kill with Pidgeot, and Torn can't win on its own. And he could potentially just like Tailwind as well. Like he could just Tailwind on like the Galvantula and just sack the Pidgeot, or like Tailwind on the Torn. So because of that, I think that I have to make the play, and I'm going to go into Tornadus on the Earthquake. I need to stall out this light screen, or I at least need a sack, because Quillfish is pretty much useless at this point. I think I have Primarina handled, and it's useless against the Hoopa and the Pidgeot. So if he were to so I go into this banking on him to Earthquake, as Dragon Claw does not kill the Quillfish, and I would be in an amazing position if that did unfold like that. So, because of this, he actually does end up going for the Dragon Claw, which is absolutely terrible, as now I might just lose to this Haxorus right here, as I need this to be healthier, and I was trying to get into a position where I could just sack off Quillfish and have these 2 remaining, as at this point, looking at his team, he just loses to Agility Haluja. He just loses to Agility Galvantula. Pidgeot dies, Hoopa dies, and Primarina dies. So if I can get the Agility off versus like Primarina, or potentially like him trying to preserve and like banking off of a choke, I could potentially win. Or on like a Pidgeot's, or on like a Mega Pidgeot's Tailwind, which arguably that's something I could have done. Looking at it. Yeah, I haven't actually looked at this match since we played it, but on the previous turn, I definitely could have gone into the Galvantula. I could have just attacked with the Quillfish, killed the Haxorus or whatever, and if let's say you went for Earthquake, I could have just went into Torn, take the hit, just go Galvantula and bank on him going for the Tailwind, which would have been a choke, but not, because it would have been a choke because I would have just won right there, and if he clicked an attack, he would have won. But without knowing my set, it's arguably not a choke. Yeah, I'm just going to make the play into Quillfish because I need Torn at all costs, as he's going to make the man's play of going for Sword Stance. So yeah, this game's looking pretty much over. Quillfish, I think, dies to anything. I think Quillfish dies to Dragon Claw. And so I'm going to try and bank on him potentially choking and not going for the Dragon Claw. Or at least misplaying, because he can still win even if he doesn't sweep with Haxorus. So he's in the advantage right now. So he can afford to make the aggressive play, as because the first time I switched out from Torn to Quillfish, I thought he might not SD again, and I really need to get the Intimidate drop, because then I can live with Torn. But he's just gonna SD again, which is definitely a perfectly fine play. It was a 50-50 at that point, where he could have afforded to make the risky play, I think, because he could have still been in a potentially good position without Haxorus. Although it could have arguably been the reason we lost, because I would have still had all 3 Mons at full health. I would have had the Quillfish relatively healthy as a potential sack. I would have had the Galvantula as well as the Tornadus, because I would have had the Tornadus. So definitely, if this didn't work out for him, I think there was a chance that I definitely could have won, but it's definitely hard to say. It's just theory modding and all that. And yeah, I'm just gonna lose to the Haxorus right here. I try and play around it a little bit, maybe see if I don't know, but yeah, basically I lose to the Haxorus. GG to Mio. Definitely not mad about this. I think I misplayed, and I definitely think that there are a lot of factors of why I lost this, but mainly Mio just outprepped me and outplayed me. In every situation where I needed to outplay him, he just outplayed me, and his prep was superb. I kept on mentioning the light screen because it was so just important. It was a really good bring, as well as because he had the light clay, I think, on Primarina, so it lasted even longer. So like that was just a really good bring on his part, and he double dance Haxorus. I didn't really expect it to be double dance. Like that caught me off guard the first SD, and like I think he just brought really good prep. And yeah, it's unfortunate that he did take over such a bad record, as that's actually his unfortunately his first win, because I don't think he can possibly make playoffs even if he went 5-5, which is definitely unfortunate. Even though I think he should have left. I think he got hexed out last week. Don't remember, but yeah, definitely was good to play him again. And we are now 4-2, still looking potentially good at the playoff race if we don't choke it away. But next week we do play off against Techno Strike YouTube, who we actually haven't faced since the off season, where he didn't really try because he was already eliminated at that point. So it's kind of just like meh game. So definitely excited to play Techno, and yeah, that's it.